But Farrell's saying there's a price to pay when you take all this, black sun technology and you start admiring it. And that price is you start thinking like a fascist, that everyone needs to just shut up and just go along with whatever the government's directing or the corporations are directing and, herd together like cattle. I say if the people come together and no one's thinking, the whole crowd's going to go over a cliff together because no one's saying, wait a minute, if anyone bothered to think maybe this is not such a good idea. And that's the strength of democracy, is that people who are not, on the, whatever the latest bandwagon is, are at what-ifing things to make sure that we're doing the right thing. And that's the strength of why we won World War II, at least to a point anyway, is we were able to what-if things. If Hitler says we're making the Me-262 into a fighter bomber, you say, well, sir, that's not a good idea. Go out and shoot this guy. That's fascism.
Mike Sparks, tell me about you. I should have asked you at the beginning, though. What's your background? Are you a military man? What's your story?
Well, I'm a 30-plus year military veteran. I was in the Marine Corps, in the Army, infantry, ground combat officer, airborne paratrooper type guy. And my career began, like normally you do, where you're running around in the woods with a rifle. And one drill weekend, I almost froze to death because the equipment we had was so crappy. And I found out later we didn't want the good gear, because if we had the cold weather equipment, this is in Wisconsin now, we would get sent to Norway. And I go, well, who doesn't want to go to Norway? But our unit didn't want to go to Norway. So annual training, we'd always go to California. I said, we can always go to California and to Disneyland and the beach. But anyway, so I got hypothermia. And that's what started me on a quest. There's got to be a better way of being out in the woods to not freeze to death, stay dry, not over exert yourself and get, hypothermia from your sweat even. And I discovered from research that the British in the Falklands were using Gore-Tex. So I researched Gore-Tex and started buying Gore-Tex on my own through, sporting goods stores. And I became kind of like Q in the James Bond movies. I'm saying, look, we need a better piece of equipment than this. Why don't we tweak this a little bit? Why don't we use Gore-Tex, get rid of these field jackets, which are, field sponges.
I've got to bring you back to the subject here, because it's very, very important. These people who email me will say, this guy's read too much fiction. He's a fantasist. He doesn't really know anything. Give me something definitive that I can give back to them.
Well, I'm a leading military reformer in the United States. You can see some of the works. I've got web pages where we deal with concrete, tangible stuff like sensor security fences. You can go to Defense Review, read that article. You can go read our book, Air Mech Strike, Asymmetric Maneuver Warfare for the 21st Century. We've got, a book on it, and this is all hardware-driven stuff. These are tangible stuff. It's not fantasy. I live in the world of hardware.
And the stuff about Ian Fleming and the Nazis and Britain's secret activities, and in fact other nations' secret activities, do you think that there will be more proof of the stuff that you've just told me coming out in future? Can we expect that? Maybe from you, somebody else maybe? It's
already come out. I mean, you've got Henry Stevens and Farrell writing about it all the time, and they're making important points. Even the Daily, was it Telegraph that just came out a few days ago saying that Eisenhower met with Nordic aliens. It's a Telegraph, in England. And Nordic is code word to me of Nazis. They're aliens that supposedly look like, tall, fair-skinned humans. Well, tall, fair-skinned humans are Nazis, generally speaking. So
I think there are a lot of tall, fair-skinned people, including myself, who might disagree with that. But
well, I'm not saying
I'll let that pass for now. Yeah.
I mean, you're
Sure.
Model human being, they're ideal human being. That's what they're doing. So it doesn't necessarily have to be from an outer space that these Nordics come visit Eisenhower, but who's kind of gullible. So what I'm doing now is writing a second book, a sequel. So it's James Bond is Real 2, Bodyguard of Spies. And in that book, I'm going to cover this strange case of Dwight D. Eisenhower, how he is used as a pawn for oil interests, turning the United States into oil-driven economy instead of train-driven. United States, 3,000 miles across. We should be having 300-mile trains crisscross this country instead of people getting 50,000 people killed each year in car crashes, to keep the oil companies rich.
Well, Mike Sparks, you've taken me on one hell of a journey. Thank you for it, and I wish you well with the books, both of them, and thank you for coming on The Unexplained.
All you got to do is just go to jamesbondisforreal.com, my website, and you see some more details, hardware, facts.
The controversial views of Mike Sparks, and his book is James Bond is for Real, and I'll put a link to details of it and how you can get it on the website, www.theunexplained.tv. Thank you very much for your continuing support. Please keep that support coming. If you want to give me feedback or make a donation to allow this work to continue, get to www.theunexplained.tv. That's the website. Thank you to Adam Cornwell at Creative Hotspot in Liverpool for getting the website designed and devised like it is and updated like it is. One of the best websites that I've ever seen, and also for getting the show out to you. So, Adam, thank you for your great work. And above all, thank you to you for supporting me, for all the nice things you've said, and for the great kindnesses that you've done me. My name is Howard Hughes. This has been The Unexplained, and I will return to you soon.